So, Doctor Who is back. Russell's back. David's back. Catherine is back. All the good old gang are back. Unless you're not really a fan of that era, but they're back. Never mind. So, it's the Doctor Who 60th anniversary. 3 specials. This is the first one. We're going to review it. We're going to talk about it. So, let's see how it goes. Doctor Who The Star Beast, written by Russell T Davies and directed by Rachel Talia, sees the return of David Tennant as now the new 14th Doctor, as well as the return of Catherine Tate. Now, how I'm going to do this review, and probably the rest of the Doctor Who reviews I'm going to do in the future, is I'm going to give my initial reaction, which will be non-spoiler, and then my likes and dislikes, which will be very much spoiler, and then kind of wrapping off my review. So, first of all, let's talk about my initial reaction. So, a non-spoiler right here. Overall, I thought it was fine. I didn't find it very special for a 60th anniversary. Obviously, it's just the first one so far. I'm actually more looking forward to the next two. I think that looks a bit more promising of what there has to have in those next two specials. But this one, I thought it was fine. I'll talk a bit more on this in my dislikes. I felt the special felt a little tired, to be honest, in a lot of the kind of plot elements and just the way it was written. I'm not the craziest Russell fan. I think he's a fine Doctor Who writer. I actually much prefer his stuff outside of Doctor Who. But it was just overall, I thought it was fine. I'm not the biggest, if you've not seen my channel before, I'm not the biggest David Tennant or Catherine Tate fan. I think they're fine. I don't get this whole hullabaloo of they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, which it feels like sometimes, but I thought they were fine. But overall, I thought it was okay. It was fun. It was a fun story, though. I should say that right now. It was fun. I didn't find there was much to chew on or much really I overall kind of got from the first special. So let's talk about my likes, shall we? Now, this is going to be more kind of spoiler stuff from now on. So first of all, I want to talk about the fact that Russell brought back Rachel Talia, which was just a great decision right there. She is one of the greatest directors that have ever done Doctor Who. Heaven Sent alone, what she did with that, just having one actor managing to kind of make it look visually interesting is probably quite something to achieve, and she did a fantastic job. She does good here. I don't think it's her greatest stuff, if I'm honest, of her Doctor Who work. I think she did better. I don't know if it was more she had more to work with in the Capaldi era, while here it didn't feel like her kind of usual thing where she's kind of maybe used to. I don't know, but it was good. The action stuff was nicely shot. There was some nice good stuff, but there was just certain stuff where I remember. I don't know if anyone else felt like this, but I almost kind of miss the days where they really challenged how they had HD, and there was always good stuff, especially in the Matt Smith era and the Capaldi era, where they were really kind of trying to challenge having kind of unique and interesting shots with HD. But now it's just like, it's because it looks so good now, it's just they don't really have to care about doing something different and unique and really showcasing off HD. It's kind of just like, here it is. But overall, it was just really great to see Rachel in the directing chair again. The TARDIS. Now, I think everyone feels the exact same way how they felt about the TARDIS. I'm going to say right now, I do have some issues, and I'll talk about it in this bit with the TARDIS, but it's beautiful. Overall, that is a beautiful console. And I think I would maybe I might be jumping the gun, but it might be my second favourite. I mean, Capaldi's is always going to be my number one, because, and this is why this new one doesn't just reach there, is because it doesn't feel lived in. It feels a bit cold. It feels a bit kind of clinical. You almost feel like if you'd step into this console that, oh yeah, you are in a hospital and a doctor sadly is going to see you about something. That's how it kind of felt a little bit, but it is still beautiful, and it's so huge. It's got to be the biggest console they've ever done. I mean, you could, I guess, maybe make an argument with the TV movie TARDIS, possibly, where that really did feel very homely, and it did, bar from the console. You could almost have taken the console out, and it did look like a home. It was a nice, almost kind of reimagining of the original, that kind of very clear white TARDIS, and it kind of has that kind of same feel of the original looking TARDIS console. But overall, it is a beautiful looking, and you can see the money they've put into it. And I like the little details and the console, and I like that they brought back the machine where it can create food and all that. Because I'm sure that was in William Hartnell. They did that years ago, decades ago. And I don't think they've ever really they've done little things like in the Matt Smith. He had like a there was like was it that one? No, it was the Jodie one that had a biscuit kind of machine and little things like that. It was always kind of nice. Next, I want to talk about is the titles. At first, I was a bit half and half, but then I kind of went, no, they are nice. It's weird how it's kind of shot. It feels kind of more. It used to always be like it was done in kind of one shot. That's how it kind of almost felt. But now it's kind of done in more kind of a Game of Thrones type feel. I think they're kind of going for where, oh, it's a shot here, and now it's a shot over there, and shot here, and yeah. It goes very quick, and some of the music is a bit. I feel like the music doesn't go with the titles. I think that was maybe my issue at first because when it does the kind of ooh wee ooh, but the actual logo doesn't appear at that point, which I was quite confused when I watched it, and I rewatched it again. I was like, oh, it is like that, and I thought that was a bit kind of quite bizarre choice that they went for that. And another thing I want to talk about is I found it interesting that it's basically just Matt Smith's titles. It's that cloud kind of feeling, but just kind of a little bit more up to date, modernized. Which is an interesting choice that the more kind of focused. I think a lot of us kind of felt that we're going to do a kind of kind of more of the Excellent Tenant titles, but they didn't. They didn't go for that. Which is what it is. I think those titles are fine. I actually do much prefer the Matt Smith ones because there's something about that kind of cloud where it feels more dark and a bit more mysterious. That kind of look. Same with like I like the Jodie's one as well as her kind of Vortex, where it has that kind of more mystique to it a little bit, which I quite liked. And the last thing I want to talk about is just simply it really looks good. There's no way about it. I mean, a lot of people always said, oh, recently, and even production wise, they say like, oh, Doctor Who's been a bit kind of maybe shabby and hasn't looked great. I mean, I've never really seen this personally. I think it's always kind of looked really good, especially when you compare it to the classic era or even some shows like I watched, like when you're a fan of like Power Rangers as well, like sometimes even now with Power Rangers is still pretty rough in how they do certain things. So Doctor has always looked great to me, and this looked fantastic. There's no way about it. Obviously, we know they've got a little bit more money, and you definitely see that. And I think it's so far used in the right ways. I think I don't think it's been used in any kind of wrong way. I think it's been used for what it needs to be used for. I don't feel like there's been stuff where, oh, there was no need for that, or that was a bit exaggerated. I mean, there was that action sequence that did kind of drag a little bit too long. Talking about kind of maybe things I don't like, let's get on to my dislikes. So on to my dislikes, and I hate to say, and there's quite a few moments it just wasn't for me. So first of all, I just want to say, like, it felt a little tired, the story. It felt very, oh, we've done this, we've done that, we've done this, and it was feeling a little bit kind of, but it wasn't done in like this is an anniversary obviously special, but it felt more just certain concepts have already been done. I mean, a good example really was the whole how Donna, I was a bit confused. So Donna, obviously the Meta Crisis stuff got passed down to her daughter, so she was okay. I don't know if they're still smart though. I wasn't I was a bit confused by that. I don't know if they still have that. I'm not 100% sure. It was interesting how, like, because Moffat did that, even though a lot of people complained about that Amy obviously had a child and energy kind of passed down to River, and that's why she's kind of got that. And I found it kind of interesting again that if Moffat and Chibnall do something, it's hated, but Russell, it's perfectly fine. and there's been a lot of instances where that seems to have happened, but yeah, there was that, and there was something I really didn't like. And I think Russell's really bad for this when it comes to his writing. And I didn't mind it back then because, okay, times have changed and that's okay. But the fact that he's still doing humour of hitting a man in the face and it's deemed as a joke, not okay. It's not okay. I find that very uncomfortable to watch, and the fact that we're still doing that in 2023, and it's not me that keeps saying that, it's people like them that keep, like Russell, that keeps banging on at me that like we need to, and I understand, and quite rightly so, we do. We need to, it's always good to progress and all that. But why are you doing that? And why do you think that's okay to do those jokes? I don't agree with it. I think it's wrong. I don't think it's funny. And if you do find it funny, I don't know why you think that's funny. I don't really get that. And there was a bit at the end. It's just, it's so annoying because I was, it was a scene when it's at the end and it says, it was something like, oh, it was a shame when you're not a woman, you were great and all that, and now you're kind of like dumb because you're back to being like a man, and it's like, why do you need to make these comments? This is why people get angry, because that's not right. If you think it's not good in the other foot, then why is it okay in the other? Like, I just don't. It's like a reason why the male suit. I'm gonna get really kind of deep here, I guess, but it's the reason why male suicide is so high is because you get these like stupid comments, and men are very mentally. They take things in, and they house it too much and all that, and then when you see like comments like that, and I just think I think it's really dirty, and I think it's not. It's very uncomfortable, and it's very disgusting, and I wish Russell didn't write stuff like that. And it's a shame because he's good at writing other stuff, but then he'll write stuff like that, and it's just like, oh, that's a shame. You really kind of let yourself down by doing that. It just makes me uncomfortable. I don't agree with it. I don't find it funny, because that's the problem. Is like, if it was maybe done, they're trying to do like a serious matter or something, but they're not. They're doing it as jokes. It's not funny. It's this is like serious matters you're kind of talking about here, and you're painting it as a joke. It's just not for me, and that's all I'll say. You can comment down below what your kind of thoughts and all that, but it's just not for me. Another thing I didn't really like was the unit uniforms. Now this is when I'm going to get into just normal Doctor Who stuff here, really. The unit uniforms were just far too over designed. They were just like, everything was here and over here, and I was just, it was a bit ugly for me. I was not a fan. I just missed the days when they just wear just the combat uniform. It was just basic. It was plain. It was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with that. And yeah, it's weird that. And it's interesting that since the Moffat era, where they started having the kind of more helmets, they've kind of stuck with that. They've gone away with the red berets. I guess maybe more, when you think of like a target, it's not really good to wear a bright red, clothing. That's going to make you a little bit of a painted target, really, isn't it? So you can understand why they've kind of went away from that kind of look. But yeah, I just. It was a bit just over designed for me. The uniforms, they just weren't for my taste. And lastly, my dislikes is, and this is going to be a big one here, is the sonic screwdriver. Oh my god, it is literally a magic wand. And it's funny when you go back, GNT, people always had a go at him that he was very gimmicky and such like, but he was the one that got rid of the sonic screwdriver because he thought that was such a gimmick, and also he felt like it was pulling writers away of getting out of a bad situation or a hard situation, such like. And I like that he kind of did that. It's like, no, writers, you have to try and think of something different here and something unique. And now it was like that scene where he can create holographic walls and protective walls, such like. Stupid, ridiculous, should not be happening. That is not for me, and it shouldn't be for anyone, because you all moaned if it happened in Moffat era, and you moaned about it in the Chibnall era as well, that it's been overused, and now it literally is not even doing what a sonic screwdriver really should be doing. It just should open doors, work electronical devices, and like that's it. Not actually creating actually. There was a bit where he used it was, I don't know, like a scan, like an actual like screen, and he was like touching it and everything. I was like, what the hell is going on here? It was just, it needs to stop. Like, just have it just opening doors. Like, now that it's become, it's just going to become a bit too convenient. So that's my review of the Star Beast. I thought it was fine. I would give it like a 6 out of 10. I didn't get much out of it, especially for 60th anniversary, but I do think the next two are going to be a bit more meatier, especially the third one. I mean, Neil Patrick Harris looks like a lot of fun. Kate's going to be back. They're clearly building Wilf. I thought he might appear in this one, but they're clearly building. He's going to be not until the third one, and I think that's obviously the last time we're going to see Wilf. But yes, I thought it was fine. I'd like to know what you guys think. Please comment down below. What did you think of the Star Beast? I would like to know. Please like, share, and subscribe. More videos in the future. So until then, see you later.